In what was described by our president as an act of terror and an act of hate, 49 people were shot dead and 53 were injured at the gay nightclub Pulse in Orlando, Florida on Saturday night in what is now the most deadly mass shooting in American history. The murderer who perpetrated this horrific crime used an assault rifle and a pistol, both of which were legally obtained. More information on this case will be forthcoming from law enforcement officials, the national media, and from us here at SourceFed. Tomorrow we'll be talking in depth about America's unique relationship with guns and how that affects our country. But today we'd like to talk about something different.
When an event like this happens, it's sometimes hard or even impossible to figure out exactly why. It's tempting to label it a senseless act of violence, and you're going to hear that phrase used quite often. It certainly was a senseless loss of human life, but this wasn't just another random mass shooting, and we can't believe how shockingly often we have to use that statement. This was a targeted attack on the LGBT community, and we're going to try to put this attack into context.
Chad Griffin, president of the Human Rights Campaign, said, "Let's get one thing clear, and this is what disgusts me most about this whole tragedy. The maniac who did this was somehow conditioned to believe that LGBT people deserve to be massacred. And he wasn't just hearing these messages from ISIL. He was hearing it from politicians and radical anti-LGBT extremists here in our own country. Every time we see legislation that puts a target on the back of LGBT people, every time a preacher spews hate from the pulpit, every time a county clerk says that acknowledging our relationships violate her religious beliefs, it sends a signal that LGBT people should be treated differently and worse."
Nationwide in the U.S., the month of June is designated as LGBT Pride Month. June was chosen to commemorate the Stonewall riots, a demonstration against a police raid on the Stonewall Inn, a gay bar in Greenwich in New York City, which occurred at the end of June 1969. This is widely seen as the popular beginning of the gay rights campaign in the United States. Since then, the path from June of 1969 to the Supreme Court's legalization of gay marriage in 2015 has been filled with crimes and violence against LGBT people, with slow progress and quick retreat, with beatings, with murders, and constant struggle against the forces of intolerance, illegal repression of rights, and hatred that stems from both religious and secular sources.
We don't have time here to walk you through the incredible history of the LGBT movement, but the decades-long march to equality is commemorated every June with nationwide celebrations by and for the LGBT community. This attack would be unspeakable at any time, but the fact that it was executed at a gay bar during Gay Pride Month is not coincidence. This was a killer's attempt to strike a bloody and deeply symbolic blow to a group of people for no other reason than the fact that they love who they love. It was terror, yes, but this was a hate crime with an insidious history.
Look, any mass shooting is an act of terror, no matter who perpetrates it and no matter what cause they carry it out for. The killer's own father reminded reporters that his son was an American, not an Afghan American, not a foreign extremist. The important thing to consider in the mass rush to judgment, to label this as an act of Islamic terrorism, is to not forget where the violence was directed. It wasn't random, it wasn't broad, and to claim it as a foreigner attacking the American people is not only a lie, it's a disservice to the LGBT people taken from their friends and family Sunday morning.
As a member of the LGBT+ community, I'd like to talk about choice for a moment. When it comes to sexuality, despite what you may believe, we don't have a choice. We are who we are. We do, however, have the choice of deciding between love and hate. And what happened this past weekend was an act of hate. Simple as that. The fact that the LGBT community has been through literal hell and still manages to live life through the lens of love speaks volumes about the type of people we are. This is who we are in the face of violence. All the thoughts and prayers that have been extended during this time are deeply appreciated, but there is so much more that can be done. Equality Florida has set up a GoFundMe account for the victims and their families. LGBT advocacy nonprofit Planting Peace has launched a CrowdRise campaign to help specifically cover the victims' medical and funeral costs. You can find the links to both donation platforms in the description below. No matter what you believe, just know, love will always win. From all of us here at SourceFed, we'd like to wish you a week of understanding, compassion, and pride. Thank you.